structural reasons or they are not investment reasons. It's still more about politics in the River State. And I mean, let's go straight into the business. I wonder, I mean, how all of this is happening in River State.
Hello, Michael, you're breaking.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I mean, I was saying let's go straight into the business. I wonder how all of this is coming out from River State. Does it seem to be like the governor has finally succumbed to his predecessor? Or you say the governor has finally succumbed to court?
I have a challenge with some of the terms we are using, and I've also made these corrections even in other public discourse. For instance, the use of word succumb, the use of the word succumb, that's a conflict language, and that's a language that may incite any of the camps, any of the political actors, involved in this matter. The governor, I would say, did not succumb, but in this case, he has no choice but to obey, the judgment of the Supreme Court. It is the apex court. It is, we have no choice but to respect the laws of the land. Nigeria is not a banana republic. It is governed by law and order. And the governor is just an individual who is also a product of the laws of the land. And so when there is a judgment like this, the minimum we expect from him is to respect and obey that judgment, whether it is in his favor or not. After all, he too has enjoyed favorable judgments on this matter before now. So this one that doesn't favor him, he should also, just like he swiftly implemented the other ones, he should equally implement this one. So in
Madam Sonia, can you hear us? So we're still looking at the crisis right there in Rivers State. Okay, why we try that? Mr. Sonny, can you hear us? Hello, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay, please go ahead.
So sorry, I don't know whether you heard what I was saying. Yeah. I didn't know that I was yanked off.
I didn't get some part. Please, can you just give us a recap?
Okay, so in a nutshell, what I was saying is that we expect the governor to be law-abiding because he is a product of law. And as a product of law, the minimum that is expected of him is to implement, the judgment of the court, whether it is the Supreme Court or even if it's a magistrate, if it's a judgment that is coming from a magistrate court. So if he had said he will not implement the Supreme Court judgment, he swiftly implemented those ones. He's also expected to implement this one, whether the judgment is bitter or not. So, and in all of this, we should put the interest of River State in the middle. A time should come when the key actors, in this conflict should be able to, speak truth to power and look at themselves in the mirror and tell themselves,
Right, yes, we're still looking at the issues, the crisis rocking right there in River State. Well, let me let you know that even the militant group right there, Niger Delta Rescue Movement, had issued a warning to the federal government that it would not hesitate to return to destroy the oil pipelines of the region, political tension in River State was not resolved. A whole lot of issues, a crisis has been raging in the state. Hello, good morning. Are you still there, Mr. Sonny?
I'm here. I'm here.
All right.
At
No,
the
we're
point
sorry.
I lost you.
Yeah,
I
sorry
don't know
about
if you also
we're
lost me
having
again.
network issues right here. Please go ahead.
So I was saying, maybe because of the network challenge, I need to quickly summarize. What I was saying in a nutshell is that the governor did not, we shouldn't say he succumbed, because that word may incite his followers or his support base, because that word may sound like it's a defeatist word, I think so. So we should rather say in this case that yes, the governor has decided to implement the judgment. And in other words, does he have a choice? He doesn't have a choice. It is the law of the land. It is a judgment that is coming from the most powerful court. So he has to implement it, because he has also enjoyed favorable judgments on this matter, and he swiftly implemented those favorable judgments. So the same way he implemented those judgments, he should also implement this one. And if he had said otherwise, some of us would have, taken him up, would have been surprised, So if you're a statesman, whether the judgment is in your favor or not, you should go ahead and implement it.
How is the people of River State receiving this news? The invitation of the governor for the Martin Amuele led House of Assembly. How did the people react to this? I mean, and now they are given conditions. They are saying that, well, this but the governor didn't invite them well for the meeting, and they are probably they started to grow wings over the invitation. All of this, is that not an uncertainty of peace in the state?
Well, Rivers people are happy that the governor finally wrote them. The governor is calling for a peace meeting. That's the minimum we expect from him.
But the pro-Wike lawmakers are giving condition for that meeting right now.
Yes, I read their condition, and what is the condition? The condition is that he should properly route the letter, and that's because they are claiming that they saw the invite on social media. There are procedures for exchanging correspondences between the office of the governor and the office of the speaker. So I don't know how the extent of truth in that matter. What I expect the office of the governor to do now is, if it is true that he sent that letter, he routed that letter, through the right channels, then he should show us an evidence that he did so, But if we see that evidence, then we will know that the assembly members or the 27 pro-Wike lawmakers are up to something, I know that, like I said earlier, I hope that they are also not trying to get back to him.
That is what
when they gave him the 48 hours ultimatum, he also claimed that he did not receive any letter. So eventually we learned that the letter was sent to the office of the governor through a courier service instead of, the clerk, which is the usual tradition, the clerk delivering the letter to the office of the governor. But the governor claimed that it was delivered through a courier service, and as a result, it didn't get to him. So I hope that it is not also the same prank that they also want to put up, but they should understand that the state is at stake here. The state is bigger than all of them, and so they should do the needful by ensuring that if they actually receive that letter through the right channels, then they should honor that meeting, because I want to suppose that part of the outcomes of that meeting is a peace outcome. That's what I am anticipating. That's what I'm envisaging from that meeting.
All right, still talking about the meeting. I mean, one of the lawmaker who represent Akuku Toru, you understand, Opwende, he said that it's time for us to determine our day. I mean, I remember the governor used to use the predecessor, Wike used to say, hey, if you day your day, I day my day. But now he's saying, when the day your day started, our principal said that it's time for our own to day our day. Understand? And now they are daying their day. I mean, all of this is happening in political crisis right there in River State. And who is daying your day? Who is not daying your day? I mean, you are in River State. You've seen all of these issues now. Now it seems to be like the governor is trying to come out of day your day and bring everyone together, and trying to make peace, and let governance, kickstart from where it stopped, or let governance, take governance to the next level. But no, some people are saying, well, they want to do their day, and instead of that, probably wait for direction from the federal government or from somebody somewhere and all before they can move to the next thing. All of these issues in day or day. How do you react to it?
I saw that comment and I find it very untasteful, and I want to advise them to be very careful. They shouldn't gloat. They shouldn't gloat, because if they do that, then it will be interpreted to mean that they are not ready for peace. It will also be, excuse me, it will also become very obvious that they are not independent after all. They are moving in line with the whims and caprices of a paymaster somewhere, something they have consistently denied. So
are you talking about Wike?
Crisis, of course, I'm talking about the FCT minister. That of course we all know that they are loyal to him, and we all know that. In fact, from even the comment he made, from the comments that this person you talked about made, he didn't hide the fact that Wike is their principal, and beyond what he said, I've also seen skits, I've also seen videos, I've also seen short clips online, with new songs that they have composed. I saw that of the video of the immediate past council chairman of Ikwere local government area, who is also a staunch ally of the FCT minister, celebrating with some persons, mocking the governor and all of that. They should also very careful. They should be very careful, because the moment the letter emerged, we started hearing all manner of narratives. They shouldn't gloat, because the battle is not over. They should remember that they still have a case in court regarding their defection. That one is still pending at the Federal High Court.
Don't you think the governor is jilting right now? I mean, with all of this coming out from the pro-Wike lawmakers.
If I think the governor is doing what?
Is jilting. I mean, probably there's a one leg.
Well, unfortunately I am not in the governor's camp to know whether he is.
I mean, you are
not, but I want to assume that. But I want to assume that he has advisors who are telling him what to do. He has political advisors. He has lawyers who are also telling him what to do. And I believe that he consulted very well before he made that broadcast where he promised to implement the judgment. I also believe that he consulted very well before resorting to writing a letter. I am for any step that can guarantee peace, that can strengthen the peace architecture of Rivers State. To me, that letter is a right decision, is the right step to take. And like I said, I'm envisaging that one of the major outcomes from that meeting is that I will see the two camps, exchanging glass of drink, and shooting their sword. But however, when we begin to hear statements like this, when we begin to watch clips on social media, that indicates mockery or some persons mocking the governor, then you are not helping the matter. You are further festering the crisis. And whether you like it or not, the truth is that Governor Sim Fubara is a very, very peaceful man, but there are some violent persons around him who are also cashing out from the crisis, who are also misadvising him, who have also misled him, in some areas, as long as this crisis is concerned. And they have you cannot measure the extent of powers they have over him to get him using such mockery videos and mockery statements, gloating statements, and if he yields to them, that means that the crisis will further become complicated. Already we have heard about threats coming from the key umbrella groups in the Niger Delta, especially the key Ijaw groups, the Ijaw National Congress, which is the umbrella sociocultural body of the Ijaws, and the Ijaw Youth Congress, which is the umbrella sociocultural group of every Ijaw youth, and these are very powerful groups. My concern is not even the Ijaw National Congress. My concern is the IYC, the Ijaw Youth Congress. They are very powerful. They have links, networks. They control the militants. It's a very, very powerful group, and that is why every governor, every president that comes doesn't disregard them when it comes to the question of the Niger Delta. And when you hear them making those kind of statements, every right-thinking person should be worried. So if a key actor in the conflict is not taking steps, to mend fences, the least I expect from the other key actor is to also yield, so that at the end of the day, the states will move forward. If this fight is about the interest of River State, I expect everybody to be magnanimous, whether in victory or whatever. Maybe we should be magnanimous at this point and put the interest of the states forward.
Okay, still talking about the threat. Stakeholders in Niger Delta have really, really raised concern over that recent threat by militants in the region to resume hostilities if the planned impeachment of the River State Governor, Sim Fubara, is carried out by the Martin Amuele-led House of Assembly. Now, it seems to be like all of this coming out from the Martin Amuele-led Assembly. It seems to be looking like a revenge. It seems to be like, when they come back, there might be a revenge, which is to carry out a kind of impeachment on the governor. But the Niger Delta group, which is called the NDRM, the Niger Delta Rescue Movement, you also mentioned about the Ijaw youth also. But let's listen to the NDRM, what they said in all of these issues and crises.
Statement by the Niger Delta Rescue Movement. We, the Niger Delta Rescue Movement, wish to express our deep concern regarding the recent development in Rivers State that threaten the smooth governance of our beloved state under the leadership of Governor Siminalayi Fubara. It has come to our attention that certain individuals, self-proclaimed as lawmakers, have issued an unfounded 48 hours ultimatum to the governor to present 2025 state budget. This blatant attempt to destabilize the state is not only alarming but also a clear indication of a coordinated effort to incite chaos, potentially leading to call for a state of emergency and even impeachment. We call on President Bola Tinubu to intervene immediately and put a stop to the action of the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, and his associates, who seem intent on dragging Rivers State into an avoidable crisis. The people of Rivers State desire stability, progress, and a conducive environment for governance. Furthermore, we must make it abundantly clear that the youth of Rivers State will not sit idly while our state is drawn into tumult. If the federal allocation due to Rivers State are not released promptly, we will have no choice but to take it decisively action. Make it include hitting high production. We can't generate money to the federation account and not have our own share. Our workers deserve their salary. Our government needs the necessary resources to carry out essential development projects. We urge all non-indigenous in Rivers State to consider their safety and leave the state promptly. As the situation may escalate, we cherish the safety of all residents and hope for a peaceful solution to this crisis. Enough is enough. We stand united for the right and future of Rivers State. We demand respect for our leaders and a focus on the development of our region. In solidarity, Niger Delta Rescue Movement.
All right, Mr. Sonny Dada, did you get that? Did you hear that?
Yeah, it was very clear. I heard it.
That's coming from the Niger Delta Rescue Movement, and you talked about the Ijaw youth also and all of this, and they've given lawmakers 48 hours also, and they also said that the people in the state should leave, as they could not guarantee their safety in the face of this ongoing political crisis. What's your reaction on this?
My reaction is simple. They don't have the authority to issue such threats or such ultimatum. They don't have such authority to do that. In fact, the most concerning part of that threat that they issued is a threat against non-indigenous. And I think that this is escalating. So it is in the best interest of the president or the presidency to quickly intervene, because when threats begin to degenerate to the extent of issuing threats against non-indigenous who are doing business and contributing to the development of the state, then every right-thinking person should be concerned. But however, even though they claim to represent an Ijaw group, the Ijaw ethnic nationality, I am very certain, and I want to categorically state that they don't have the authority to do that. Yes, I know that some of them are key Ijaw youths, some of them are ex-militants, but they don't necessarily represent the interests of the average Ijaw man, because the question is, how has the fight, benefited the average Rivers man on the street? How has the fight benefited the average Ijaw man that is from Rivers State? So we should also be very careful when we use an ethnic umbrella to begin to issue threats, against the state or against strangers doing business in the state, because there are a lot of persons supporting Simla Fubara. Those supporting Simla Fubara are not the only ones. It is not only the Ijaws that are supporting Simla Fubara. There are strangers supporting Simla Fubara. There are members of other ethnic nationalities in Rivers State, including people from Ikwere ethnic nationality, which is the ethnic nationality of the FCT minister and the Martins Amewule, including people from Obiakpo local government area, which is the local government area of Martins Amewule and Wike. The governor has staunch supporters from this local government area, from this ethnic nationality, from many other ethnic nationalities in Rivers State. So we should be very careful when we now begin to make it look like it's an Ijaw affair or an Ijaw fight. You will isolate the governor, and that's what they are trying to do. They will just isolate the governor by the time they begin to issue this kind of threat. So I hope that people are advising them, and I hope that they know what they are doing. They should desist from issuing such threats. I do not think that a fight between a Wike and a Sim should not degenerate to an extent where we will now begin to go back to the creeks, to begin to open up oil pipelines and all of that. That would be very sad and unfortunate, and we should be very careful with the kind of statements we make or narratives we run with at this point.
Okay, a whole lot happening right there in River State. Quickly, let's turn the table to you, Lagosians. It's time for you guys, all of you Lagos, to make comments and ask questions on these issues. Yes, callers on 0705 890 4927 0705 890 4927 or 0805 092 0927 0805 092 0927, or you can send us your message right here on WhatsApp 0705 690 0927 0705 690 0927. Issues coming out from River State, and definitely we just one day pray that all of this peace and return to River State 100%. But don't you think this political crisis brewing in River State can definitely snowball into a conflagration that would impact the economy of the country? Don't you think so?
I very much agree, and we're not just saying this. When we want that this crisis should be managed strategically and that key authorities should intervene so that at the end of the day we reign in peace in the state, we are not just talking. That's because we have precedents. The militancy, the unrest that engulfed the Niger Delta started from River State, specifically Okrika local government area. That's where the challenges started. And it started as a chieftaincy crisis. From chieftaincy crisis, it became a political crisis.
You mean the impeachment talk?
Political crisis. Sorry?
You mean the impeachment talk?
I'm talking about the last unrest.
Okay.
From Okrika local government identity of the conflict changed to a political crisis, and from there it became an Ijaw thing, which now attracted beyond River State. You know that the Ijaw ethnic nationality is the biggest ethnic group in the Niger Delta. So in Bayelsa, you have Ijaws. In fact, Bayelsa is an Ijaw state. In Delta, you have Ijaw. In Edo, you have Ijaw. Everywhere you have Ijaws. Even in Ondo, you have Ijaws. So the fight became, because it became political, it changed identity and it became an Ijaw fight, which now attracted the attention of other Ijaws from across, the region and from other states, and the whole thing became complicated. Then with their sympathizers from other ethnic nationalities, which now became a Niger Delta conflict. Then they now built in the resource component into it, which is a resource control part of it, and the whole thing became messy. If you are not careful, we are going to, find ourselves in that same kind of unrest that we saw. Because right now, from political conflict, it is now becoming an ethnic conflict. Because persons are now beginning to bring in Ijaw versus Ikwere fight, identity. If you look at the narratives online now, you will see persons, the various actors talking about Ijaws, the other actors talking about Ikwere, because Wike is Ikwere. Martin Samewule is Ikwere.
So it's still the Wike and same fight.
It's tilting. Every day we are seeing the identity of the conflict evolve, and the more the identity evolves, the more complicated the crisis becomes. And at that point, you can't predict the eventual outcome. And that is why we have to be sensible. That's why we have to quickly move in and ensure that we bring in the key actors into a room where we get a common ground dialogue at the end of the day.
It seems to be like this will take the whole tenor of the governor. I mean, is there going to be a time where, the states will face real governance?
Sorry, Michael, I didn't hear that.
I said it seems to be, it's looking like this is going to take the whole tenor.
Michael, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I said I didn't hear the last part of your question.
I said this is looking like it's going to take the whole tenor of the governor. Is there not going to be a time where the state can enjoy governance?
Well, it is some of the narratives we are also saying. Some persons have also said that this is a clear strategy to distract the governor, to ensure that he does not enjoy, peace as governor in his tenure. And obviously, it's looking like the governor has also resigned to such fate that, yes, for the whole 4 years, he's not going to have peace, because, like I said, on this part, from his camp, we're also seeing some persons stoking the conflict, just as we have seen certain persons from the Wike camp also stoke the conflict. So nobody is less guilty here. All of them are guilty and all of them are culpable, But like you have rightly observed, if we're not careful, this is what we're going to have in the next 4 years. In any case, and this is very unfortunate. What I want to say now is very unfortunate. In any case, even when there was peace, did we enjoy good governance in River State? We have been so unlucky. We have been so unlucky.
Are you questioning the Wike government administration?
No. See, if we want to go in there, then we will not end this conversation. We want to go in there.
You said when there was peace. Literally, when the governor...
Wike, 80% of the projects Wike did, we are concentrated in his local government area. It's a fact. It's a fact everywhere. Come to River State. It's a fact. Walk on the streets. Count the so-called flyovers he did. About 9 of them were all done in his local government area.
Are you saying nine flyover in one local government?
Yes.
9.
Local government area, in case you don't know, you can call your sister station in Port Harcourt to verify. Even the concentration in Obiakpo local government area was on the part of the local government area where he comes from. And that is why the people that are supporting the governor from Obiakpo local government area are from the other part where development did not reach. Yes,
I understand. You are in the States. I'm just looking at it. Is there going to be a flyover in every houses He's not supposed to be on the road.
Even when they did employment into the various higher institutions in the states, his local government area took more than half of the number of persons employed. Rivers State has 23 local government areas, and Obiakpo local government took more than half of the slots. So these are some of the issues. So when you hear that the governor has sympathy, these are some of the things that are, giving the governor sympathy. Some persons who never benefited, so people who are angry with the way Wike governed the state, who are now saying that, okay, it's not that we love Sim, but because Sim is now anti-Wike, we will support Sim. Civil servants never got promotion since Wike took over governance. In Rivers State, nobody, no single person was promoted. Make your calls. You have a sister station in Port Harcourt. Call them and to verify these things I'm saying. They never got promoted. They never got promoted from the day Wike took over and the day he left office. Nobody was promoted. Those who were promoted when he came to office, none of them received their promotion allowance. That was why the moment pensioners were not also paid. That was why the moment Sim took over, the first thing he did was to effect those promotions since 2014, paid their promotion arrears, paid pensioners, and that is why his biggest support base are the civil servants. So Wike governed Rivers State. I'm sorry to say, but it is true. He governed Rivers State like a dictator, like a tyrant. There's no truth, but there's no other way to say it. It is the truth, But what we are saying is that right now we need peace. We need somebody. We need the governor to concentrate and see how he can spread development to all the local government areas in Rivers State, to every nook and cranny, to every community, not just Opopo alone, because the governor is from Opopo, not just Opopo alone, not Obiakpo alone, not Okrika alone. It should spread development to all the entire every part of the state. That's what we are talking about, and that was why some persons were happy when the governor came, because he is not a professional politician. All this while we've been having professional politicians. This is the first time Rivers State had a governor that was a career civil servant. He retired, then became, the governor. So the expectation was, okay, this person will act differently because he's not a professional politician.
Okay,
but unfortunately, we are seeing what we are seeing. And that is why some of us are worried.
Let me hold you there in this, talking about the governor being not a professional politician and all. Quickly, Lagos, it's time for you to make your comment on this show. Callers on 0705 890 4927. 0705 890 4927 or 0805 092 0927. 0805 092 0927. Or you can also send your messages via WhatsApp 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. Yes, let's talk. Let's talk about governance. Let's talk about the crisis happening in Rivers State. I mean, you were talking about the issues right there, talking about the governor being not fully a politician, not being a professional politician. Well, do you have to be a politician before you be a governor, before you become a governor? That's one question. Secondly, is that why? Maybe he's not rooted in politics. Is that why it seems to be bended in some of these things happening to him coming from the pro-Wike camp or pro-Wike lawmakers?
You know that as a career politician, you are expected to have structures in place. You heard when the crisis started initially, you heard the former governor saying that he will not allow anybody to hijack his structure. So in Nigeria, if you don't have a structure, then you are not a good politician. And what is a structure we are talking about? A support base that you have put in place, that you have oiled, that you have invested upon, for several years, and so the governor came into office on the platform, on the structure of the former governor, and so when the crisis started, because the governor is not a career politician, he was marooned. And that is why right now the preoccupation of the governor is to set up his own structures. The governor came into office on the structure called GDI, Grassroots Development Initiative. That is a structure of the FCT minister. It was that structure that the FCC that brought the FCC minister into office. When he was Minister of Education, he built that structure, and that structure brought him into office. They used the same structure to bring in the current governor. But when the crisis started and they took the structure from him, he was marooned. So right now, his concentration is on how to build his own political base. So that is why they are fighting over the soul of the PDP. You have a faction of the PDP loyal to him, a faction of the PDP loyal to the FCT. You also see the governor also strengthening other political parties. For instance, the APP, which was a platform the sacked council chairman used, to elect themselves into office, So they are now strengthening all those structures so that at the end of the day, if he lost out on the PDP struggle, of course, the APP is here as a platform, So our take is that these funds are funds that should have been channeled into development. These are funds that should have been channeled into proper governance in the state. Because, the governor, being a retired civil servant, does not have that kind of money, to build a political structure in Nigeria. To set up a political structure in Nigeria requires so much money. And that is why, people who are in public offices use, monies from those offices to set up these structures, So, and that's what is happening now. And that is why we tell you that governance is suffering. The crisis is leading to death in development. Governance is suffering in the state because the governor now has other priorities because he has to survive. It's a political battle that he is fighting. And this is the biggest political battle of his life. So whether you like it or not, as a human being, naturally, there are certain survival instincts that the governor will adopt. And building his own political structure is part of the survival instinct that he has adopted. Because he does not just want to govern for 4 years. He wants to come back. Even if he doesn't want to come back, there are people around him, there are hawks around him who are also instigating him, who are telling him that, look, Mr. Governor, you have to come back. Why? Because their survival, depends on him coming back. It is about stomach infrastructure. It's about stomach. This whole fight is about stomach infrastructure. So when you see those with the FCT minister, fighting, shouting, and all of that, it is because their own survival also depends. On how many of them will get federal appointments, for instance? How many of them, how much will a board appointment give them? So their food, their pot is in the state. And that's why they are fighting. The governor too, those in his camp too, their own pot is also in the state. So it's about stomach infrastructure. It is not necessarily about how to better the lot of River State.
But the way it is now, it seems to be like, while all this crisis is happening to the governor, the deputy governor is silent, is watching. It seems to be like, she's behind the scene. And some camp has been saying maybe she's just trying to be neutral so that when there's an impeachment talk or impeachment, whatever it is, that she'll be used. She'll step in. Ngozi Odu, Ngozi Maudu. What do you think is happening? Why is it looking like she's been quiet in all of this?
I don't know what you expect from the deputy governor. She's a deputy governor. The role of a deputy governor, a vice president in Nigeria, it's as far as I'm concerned, their survival depends on their principal. The survival of the deputy governor depends on the governor. The survival of the vice president depends on the president. So it is what he assigns to her that she can carry out. And beside that, she's a woman. There is this patriarchy thing, and the River State patriarchy is very strong. So she's also a professor. She's well educated. So you don't expect her to come online and begin to talk like, all these data boys we see online and all of that. But that does not mean that she's not doing her own behind the scene. She's not offering behind the scene support. And please, I don't want us to be deceived. If she doesn't like what is going on, she would have resigned. If she's not part of the governor's support base, she would have resigned before now.
We know that in Nigeria, hardly will a politician want to resign.
She's fooling with the governor. Is that what?
Mr. Sonny, we know that in Nigeria, hardly will anyone want to resign. We don't have that mentality.
Yes, I agree. I agree. But the point I'm making is that the deputy governor must not come out and begin to say some sarcastic or nasty things online before we know that she's supporting the governor. There is a particular senator who was with the FCT minister. But recently I learned that no, she has become neutral. She has decided to be neutral, because she attended an event organized by the local government chairman of her council, the sacked local government chairman of her council. She attended an activity that she felt was for that event. The FCT minister's camp was angry and they tagged her disloyal. And she was angry because of that. And she made categorical statement that, look, she cannot, because she is not happy with the governor, be seen to sacrifice the interest of the state or the interest of our local government. And since then, she became neutral. And right now, she's seen as a disloyal person or a rebel. So there are persons but you will never hear her come online to speak against either the governor or the FCT minister. So there are persons like that who are very neutral or who are actively supporting each of the camps, but you don't see them come online, you don't see them issuing press statements, see them all of that. So if they don't do that, all of that. So if they don't do that, does not mean that their behind the scene activities are not noted.
As it is right now, the Senate President Godswill Akpabio has assured that he will mobilize senators from the Niger Delta region to nip in the bud the lingering crisis in Rivers State. Well, he received delegation of the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Youth Leaders Forum, who paid him a visit over the weekend. And then he told the delegation that he and other senators from the Niger Delta will take up their requests and see how they could bring peace to Rivers State, particularly the sub-national needing similar intervention. I mean, what's your reaction to this? Do you think...
Yes, that would have been a welcome development, and the Senate President would have been applauded. But the challenge I have with him is that he's not neutral in this conflict. He's not neutral. He has openly shown that he's...
Who is he supporting?
He's supporting Wike. He was in the state recently where he made very, very, damaging statements against the governor and against the PDP. He was in the state recently, and in fact, he mocked the governor. It's there. And people were really, really angry. Some groups even threatened that they shouldn't come back to the state, So if you are openly taking a position on this matter, I wonder how you want to suddenly now become a peacekeeper, because the other group will not, give you that opportunity. The other group will not trust you, because it's about trust. This whole thing is about trust. So we need people, and that is why I am also very disappointed with some of the elders who have taken, positions on this matter for and against. I'm really disappointed. Elders that I respect so much, including some religious leaders. So at this point, we need very neutral persons who have influence within and outside the state, but are neutral and can look at the key conflict actors and tell them the bitter truth, no matter how bitter it is. Tell them the truth. Tell them how their actions are inflicting injury and why they should desist from certain actions and why they should let go and reconcile.
Okay, we just hope that the Senate President will do justice to these issues lingering in Rivers State. And then also talking about Asari Dokubo. Yeah, I mean, the group have demanded the arrest of Asari Dokubo also over threat to oil production. I don't know if you've come across that issue right there in Rivers State. The Rivers Restoration Movement, RRM, they are demanding the arrest of prominent Ijaw leaders over alleged threat to disrupt oil production if the state governor is impeached. And that's still talking about the impeachment of the governor. They are calling for the arrest of Asari Dokubo. I mean, I just told you about the Niger Delta militant who, are the issue statement, the NDRM, and now they're calling for the arrest. The group has demanded the arrest of Asari Dokubo over alleged threat to oil production. I mean, How is this related? Oil production and the impeachment of the governor, and then talking about Ashari Dokubo calling for his arrest. Please bring us up to date, or give us more analysis in all of these issues with Asari Dokubo.
Asari Dokubo makes inflammatory statements because the state tolerates him. This is not the first time he's making such inflammatory statement. I mean, he's known to be very, very. When he talks, he doesn't hold back.
I mean,
he says things that ordinarily, where you have law and order, where you have institutions that are very effective, they should ordinarily pick him up.
But I mean, we're in a country where
a lot of very inciting things, and he has gotten away with such things, and that is why he keeps making such inflammatory statements.
But we're in a country where I mean, ordinary Nigerian will say it, and then the next morning.
Sorry,
can you hear me?
I didn't hear that. Sorry.
I mean, we have seen a situation where some Nigerians will say something, and then the next morning the DSS.
You're breaking, Michael.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hello, Michael.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
I said we've seen situations where someone will say something, and the next morning the DSS are in their apartments, in their house.
Yes.
But you said countless times he has made some infiltrating statement, and nothing is being done.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. And he keeps making these kind of statements, because he knows that they will not pick him up. Maybe the reasons, there are numerous reasons for that. Maybe as a Niger Delta, knowing the role he played in the unrest that engulfed the region, and how eventually the amnesty program came in and all of that, knowing his network and his connections to, some of these Greek actors and all of that. And in any case, the man also has his own army. He also has his own army. He's a government contractor. He has his security outfit, who have also proven to be very, very efficient. There are some areas in Rivers State leading to some local government areas, especially Calabari Aziz, that used to be kidnappers then. He deployed his army there, and as I speak to you, there is calm in that place. And when you see the kind of guns they carry, the average the state security actor doesn't carry that kind of gun. Very sophisticated and expensive weapons that they carry. And there is calm in that location. Something that before now, even when the kidnappers were running amok, we had several police checkpoints along those routes. But even with the checkpoints, kidnappers were still reigning supreme until the man deployed his army, and there was sanity in the area. So maybe because of some of these things and all of that, that's why I said there could be, the reasons may be enormous. But I'm sure security agencies also have their briefings. They have their briefs. They know why they have not moved against him. But we are throwing the ball back at them. But the truth of the matter is that he makes serious inflammatory statements that gets people worried.
Well, that's how much we can take on the show. Time is definitely not on our side. But I mean, I wonder when we will come to a realization that we need a in Rivers State. I just pray that peace return to Rivers State. And I hope also I want you to stay safe right there in the state. Mr. Sonny Dada, the former spokesman, Civil Liberty Organization in Rivers State. Thank you very much for your time on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Please stay safe out there. Okay, all right. This is how much we can take on the show on Spotlight on Super 92.7 FM. Join us again tomorrow at same time, 7:30. Where we'll begin the pages down to 8. We'll look at things breaking the news, things that we need to make more analysis into in Nigeria. My name is Michael Young. Have a beautiful day.
We don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. Switch to the good side of life here on 92.7 Super FM.